Good morning. Namaskar. Hope all of you are doing well. We have been having very nice weather. So, Pravrajika Prabuddha Pranaji from Sharada Math in Belur Math. She has been with us. She is visiting us for some time. She'll be here for another 6 weeks or so, but she'll be traveling in between to other places. So if you wish to come and see the Mataji, you are welcome. Most of the time she is here. It's good to meet holy people who have dedicated their whole lives from very young age to Vedanta, to God realization. So let us begin our study with a prayer from the Bhagavatam. This on page 94 of the book, The Universal Prayers. The first one on page 94. Om Swastyastu Vishwasya Kala Prasidatam Dhyayantu Bhutani Shivam Mito Dhiya Manascha Bhadram Bhajatadadhokshaja Aveshatam No Matirapyahayituki. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the world be peaceful. May the wicked people become gentle. May all creatures think of mutual welfare. May their minds be occupied with what is auspicious. And may our hearts be immersed in selfless love for the Lord, pure devotion to God. Om peace. May there be peace in our hearts. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings. And may there be peace everywhere in nature. We are at the end of chapter 15, Purushottama Yoga, one of the most important, most beautiful chapters also in the Gita. The last two shlokas are remaining to be studied. These two shlokas are by way of conclusion. The previous two shlokas, 17, 18, they described the Supreme Being, Purushottama. That's the name of the chapter, Purushottama Yoga. Supreme Being is above all other entities. As we observe this world around us, we feel an infinite variety of things. Living, non-living, moving, unmoving, good, bad. So many, infinite variety of things. And they're all coming and going and changing. All of nature is changing every moment. Everything is moving. Now, behind this, is there something that is stable and changing, that provides the basis, serves as the foundation for this universe, physical universe? That is the question that we have been inquiring into. What is there? Is there something, or is it all, whatever is visible, is it all there is to it? Or is there something more? That question has occupied all thinking human beings from the beginning of culture, civilization. Is there something? And that is the question that the Vedas have addressed and answered. Our ancient scriptures, Vedas, they are dealing with this question. Is there something else besides what is just visible through the senses? So the end of the conclusion of the Vedas, Vedanta, Anta means end. The last portion of the Vedas, where this inquiry has culminated into definitive knowledge and experience. Those are the Upanishads, the last portions of the Vedas. It is in the Upanishads that you find the essence of Vedanta, what we are trying to understand in our own humble way. So the conclusion of Vedanta is, to put it in a very simple and brief statement, yes, there is something besides what is visible. This visible universe, as large, infinite as it is, endless, the new telescope, Webb telescope, which has gone into space a million miles away, is revealing endless cosmos, galaxy after galaxy after galaxy, billions of them. Behind all of these things, and all of these things are changing every moment, some rapidly, some slowly. Vedanta says unequivocally, without any doubt or hesitation, equivocation, without any equivocation, no hem and hawing, yes, for yes, but no, not. Definitely says yes, there is something which is beyond the visible universe, which is unchanging, eternal, which is intelligent consciousness. We can call it God in a popular language, but Upanishad does not use the word God, but uses the word Brahman. There is that Brahman, ultimate reality. This whole universe is that Brahman. Idam sarvam Brahma eva. So that is the conclusion of Vedanta. So that is what we are trying to understand. What is that reality? Now, as described in the Upanishads, it is difficult to know because it is no name and form. No name, no form, no guna, no quality, no attribute. So hard for human mind to understand. For us to understand, we should have some handle. Some form must be there, some quality must be there, some description should be there. Then we can understand. If something is beyond all these things, beyond the domain of senses and mind also, how to understand, that is difficult. But yet we have to understand. We can't give up because it is difficult. Bhagavad Gita makes it easy. Puranas, Bhagavad Gita, and other scriptures, they make it easy by describing the same reality in terms that we can understand. So, what is called Brahman, supreme reality, attributeless, formless, nameless reality, pure consciousness, cannot be described, cannot be thought about, cannot be expressed in words. What has been described there in the Upanishads is described as Purushottama in the Bhagavad Gita. And various aspects of God in the Puranas. So that is the Purushottama. In the Gita earlier chapters also this has come. Aksharam, Brahma has come. In the previous verse number 16, we saw there are two beings. Verse number 16 we saw in chapter 15, Dvavimau Purushau Loke Ksharascha Akshara Evacha. There are two entities. Purusha means, Purusha has many different meanings. Here it means categories or entities, not a human being. Two entities are there. One is called Kshara, one is called Akshara. Kshara means all the perishable entities which we are seeing. Everything we are seeing, everything that can be seen by the sense organs, can be seen, heard, touched, tasted, and smelled. That's all finite. So besides that, besides the Kshara part, perishable part, there's Akshara, imperishable entity. And what is that Akshara? What Upanishad described as Brahman? That is already come to us in the 8th chapter, chapter 8, Shloka number 3. Chapter 8 begins with Arjuna's 7 questions. In 2 shlokas, Arjuna has 7 questions. A barrage of questions Arjuna has in the 8th chapter, chapter 8. So the first question was, what is Brahma? Kim tat Brahma? Upanishad Brahman is nameless, formless entity, Satyam, Ganam, Anantam, Brahma, all those things. But in our language, that we can understand, what is Brahma? Kim tad Brahma? First question of Arjuna. Kim adhyatmam, kim karma, Purushottama, etc. So the answer was given in the 3rd shloka of the same chapter 8. Very brief answer. Sri Krishna did not give any explanation there. Brahma. He said, Arjuna's question was, what is Brahma? Kim tad Brahma? Bhagavan Sri Krishna's answer was, Aksharam Brahma Paramam. That's all. Brief definition. Brahman is Aksharam Brahma, Paramam Brahma. Supreme Brahman is Akshara, imperishable. That's all. Now, in this sloka, in this chapter, a little bit more details are given. Few more details are given. What is Brahma? What is Akshara? Akshara. So that began in verse number 16. Dvavimau purushau loke ksharascha evacha. In this world is in whole universe, not only this earth, but everywhere. 2 beings are there. 2 entities are there. Ksharascha, aksharascha. Perishable and imperishable. What are the perishable things? Ksharasarvadi bhutani. All the beings which you are seeing, human beings, animals, plants, all of nature, sun, star, moon, other stars, all of these things are Kshara Sarvani Bhutani. They are perishable. They all come and go. Everything comes and goes. Some things live for a long time. Some things live for a very short time. But they all have a beginning and an end. Everything in nature. They are called Kshara, perishable. Perishable means they change and then they go away. Human body, for example, it was not there before. It's there now. It's changing every moment. It is there. Between the moment of birth and death, every moment body is changing. And then it will go away. These are all called Kshara Sarva. All the bhutas are Kshara, perishable. That we know. We don't study them in the Gita. Other sciences study the other branches of creation. Physics, chemistry, sociology, psychology, medical. So they all study the Kshara part of it, perishable part of it. In Vedanta, we study the imperishable foundation, substratum. Kutastha uchyate. The imperishable part, which remains unseen, serves as the foundation for this whole creation. That is Akshara. That is Brahma, as described in chapter 8. Aksharam Brahma Paramam. So these 2 things are there. Now, what is the source of these 2 things? Purushottama, the Supreme Lord. According to, from our duality point of view, we live in duality. I am separate, you are separate, God is separate, I am separate. That's our present perception, experience. So from our duality point of view, there is a Purushottama, supreme being. Uttama means supreme, highest, best. Sabse Shresht, Purusha. That's Purushottama. So that is being described here in verse number 17, 18. Uttamaḥ puruṣastvanyaḥ paramātmetyudhāhṛtaḥ. Anya means other than the Akshara which you are saying, Purushottama is there. He is paramātmetyudhāhṛtaḥ. What you call Paramatma, Purushottama, Bhagavan, they're all same. Duality point of view, separate from us. Brahman is same as us. That's too difficult to understand. This is easy. God. Simple word God. We all use that one every day. Paramatma. Uttamaḥ puruṣastvanyaḥ paramātmetyudhāhṛtaḥ. And what does he do? How does he exist? Lokatrayamāviśya. Lokatraya means the three worlds. Earlier days, they were thinking there are three worlds. This world, Bhu, and the Antariksha, interspace, and the Devaloka above. Svaha, Bhurbhuva Svaha, Gayatri Mantra, we chant that one. Om Bhurbhuva Svaha. Now, Puranas describe 14 lokas, 7 above, 7 below. These are different views. That means the whole creation. Whole creation. Lokatrayamāviśya. Aviśya means entering or pervading the whole universe. Bibhartyavyaya means supports, upholds. īśvaraḥ is the īśvara, Supreme Lord. He supports the whole universe. Whatever is there because of his presence, his power. Sun shines because of his power. We saw all of this before. All this old information. We are recapitulating. Because of the Purushottama's power, whole creation functions. Sun shines because of his power. People live because of his power. Trees grow because of his power. Earth exists, moves, everything in nature. His power is behind everything. Like electricity, making all appliances function. Electricity is one power. But it manifests itself in different ways in different appliances. It does different things. Appears differently. One electric line comes from the outside, electric power supply utility company to this building. So many things are connected to it. There is a night lamp, which is 5 watts. At night, it comes on. Very small light. Same current flows in it. It produces very little light at night. Next to it, there is a 100-watt bulb. So much brightness. Same current. In this produces so much light, in that produces a little bit light. Tube light also produces nice light, cooling light. Same electricity. And same electricity makes the computer work. Same electricity makes the coffee maker work. Coffee maker makes coffee. Toaster makes toast. Drying machine dries clothes. Washing machine washes clothes. Dishwasher washes the dish. Same electricity. So many different functions. Every machine does something different. One power appears differently. Some small, like a small bulb, some very large, big appliance, like that one. In the same way, one power of source for the whole universe, God's power, that makes the whole everything in the whole universe function. Everything functions differently. Sun shines so much power, energy, sun produces. 93 million miles away, we are feeling sunlight. Without that, we cannot live. No life can exist without sunlight. God's power in this sun. All of that we have seen before. That is Purushottama. Bibharti means in Shloka number 17, second line, Bibharti means support, upholds, makes everything function. As if autonomously. See, if you watch the bird outside, no spring birds are coming out. Little birds. And they are eating whatever grain worms are there in the backyard. And suddenly they fly. Little bird has so much power. It flies in 3 dimensions in sky. It can go anywhere. It can go along this miles and miles. It can fly very long. Great heights it can rise. Little power. See how much power is there in it. What is that power? From where that bird gets the power to get? Bird gets the power to fly. Little bird. Beautiful. God's power. So you can see God's power in all and everything we have to see. You can see the presence of God in everything. When you watch, we are open our eyes and see, everywhere we see God's power. So that is Bibharti. He supports and upholds everything, makes everything alive and possible, function. It does its own thing. That is Purushottama. In this way, if you describe Purushottama, easy to understand. In Upanishad says, Sarankaladam Brahma, that is abstract, looks abstract. That is the truth, but it is easy to understand. Purushottama Yoga. Shloka number 18, same thing. He describes himself. Bhagavan describes himself. Yasmat ksharamati toham aksharaadapi chottamaḥ atosmi loke vede prathita puruṣottamaḥ. That Purushottama is this being described. He himself describes himself. Who am I? God is telling us, making it easy for us to understand. He says, Ksharam atitaha. Kshara means all the perishable things. He is beyond them. He is not one of them. God is not like one of the human beings who comes and goes, suffers, enjoys 70, 80 years. Not like that. He is imperishable, eternal, supports everything. Ksharadhatitaha, transcending all the perishable beings. Atita means transcending, above all, supporting them. Aksharaadapi chottamaḥ. Even the imperishable element present within us is that supreme reality. Loke cha vede cha. Loke means in this world. Loka also means people. In this world, Vede, in the scriptures, in the Vedas, how is he known? Purusha Uttama iti pratitaha. He is known as Purushottama, supreme reality, God. People talk about God. Though we know very little about God, we do a lot of talking about God. Yeah, purpose is to know God. That's good. Talking is good. We begin with thinking and talking, and then gradually experience has to come. Otherwise, we'll be talking about worldly things, which is not helpful. But if you want to say something, let us talk about God, not about all what's going on in the world. Not helpful. All the people, human beings, talk about God, or most of them. In the scriptures, in the Vedas also is known as Purushottama, in different names. Words are different, his same being. Now comes the 19th verse. Now, if we know who this Purushottama is, know here means not reading intellectually, God is like this, not description in a book, not listening to somebody lecture about God. Know means direct experiencing God's presence within me and everybody else. That's what the Gita has been saying from beginning. He's present in all. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram. That famous verse in the 13th chapter, Shloka 27. And other slokas like that in the Gita. They have been saying, He's present in all. Even in wicked people, God is present. They only don't know. They are ignorant, but He's present. Someday they will become aware of Him. They will not remain wicked for a long time. Gradually, knowledge will come. Knowledge has to come. It is there. It has to manifest itself. It takes time. For some people, it takes longer time. For some people, it happens quickly. So He's there in all. So, that's Supreme Being. We should know that one. So in 19th sloka it says, Evam yaha janati. He who knows me. Janati means a person who knows me. How? What kind of person can know him? Asammudaha. Muda means unthinking person, unintelligent person. Muda. Mugdha or Muda. Asammuda means a wise person, thoughtful person, a person who can think deeply about profound matters, not about worldly matters. Some people are very intelligent in worldly things. For example, there is some television show called Jeopardy. We don't watch that one, but I've heard about it. There, the people who participate, they are very intelligent people. How much they can remember? Not possible for ordinary people. Anything you ask trivia, they will say. Who acted in what movie, 1940, what song they sang, they will tell. Who scored how many points in some game, football game, how many touchdowns, 1974, they will tell. So much knowledge they have. But that kind of knowledge is interesting for the time being, but it is not useful in the long run. You will get some money. Jeopardy, if you win some $1,000,000, and they will serve for some time, and that's the end of it. When you become old, all that memory will be lost. When old age comes, you don't remember what I did for breakfast this morning, I cannot tell. And that person can remember all those things. Your geography be, spelling be, although they memorize thousands of things. But that is not, it is one kind of knowledge. It's temporarily useful for some time. It is for this life, it is useful. It's good, it's not bad, but it is not, long term use is not there. Not that knowledge here. Janati means knowing God, experiencing God's presence directly, tangibly within me and everybody else and everything else. Seeing God directly. That is ultimate. Sakshatkara, we call it. Deva Sakshatkara, Atma Sakshatkara. We have to see, experience, feel oneness with Him. That is Jnana, true Jnana. Earlier we saw Paravidya, two distinctions in earlier chapters. This Paravidya, knowledge of God. Evam asammodaha yaha aha asammodaha janati, whom Purushottama, the supreme reality God. So in the commentary he says, janati means I am aham asmi iti Purushottamam yaha janati. Directly experiencing oneness with God, not knowing as an object. God is not an object outside of me. God is my own self, feeling that one, experiencing it. I am ahameva. I am the same as He. That is true knowledge. The knowledge we have is secondary knowledge. We read about God in books, listen to other people who have seen God. But experience is the true knowledge. Knowledge means experience. Not as an object, but as one's own self. I am eva asmi. A person who knows Purushottama like this, Saha, such a person, we are doing Shloka 19. Sarvavid, he knows everything. If you know God, you know everything. If you know God, He is the source of everything, you know everything. Just the key to the stories of knowledge. An ordinary customer goes to a supermarket with some money or a credit card. He buys 15, 20 things in a cart, shopping cart, and takes it home. That's all he can carry. The person, a shopper in a shopping market, in a supermarket. But the owner who has the key to the supermarket, he wants the whole thing. Not a few things, the whole thing. That is entirety. In the same way, not knowing fragments of knowledge, but entirety of truth, reality, God. That is true knowledge. Sarvavit bhajati mam, sarvabhavena mam bhajati. Bhajati means worships me, adores me in every way. In every way means seeing Him in everything. In every action, in every situation, in every person, every being, every object, seeing God. Sarvavid bhajati. So that is the nature of true knowledge. That's how we have to know God. But this beginning, we have to begin somewhere. So beginning with reading about God and listening. This beginning step, we have to go through this step. Directly, you cannot get experience. Most people. So I have to go through this, reading scriptures, listening to, doing some japa, some meditation, some scripture, thinking good thoughts, staying away from worldly things. Those are important. Now we go to Shloka number 20, last Shloka. That is the, these two Shlokas are conclusion, Palashruti. 20. Iti guhyatamam shastram idamuktam maya nagha etad buddhva buddhiman syat Kritakrityascha Bharata. This is the concluding shloka of this chapter. Iti idam. You see the word idam hidden there. Shastram idam uktam. In Sanskrit, they combine many words, sandhi or samasa. Idam means this. Idam shastram. This science, this knowledge. Shastra means knowledge, systematic knowledge. Idam shastram iti guhyatamam. Guhya means secret, hidden. Guhyatama means most secret. Tama means superlative suffix. Tara means comparative. Tama means superlative in Sanskrit. Sheshtha means best, very good, better, best. Sheshthatara means better. Sheshthatama means supreme, superlative degree. And the Guhyatama means most sacred, most mystic, most hidden, secret. Secret not in the sense it is hidden. Anybody can buy a copy of Gita book and read, or Upanishad is all printed in many languages. It's not withheld from anybody in that way. Guhyatama here means this knowledge remains hidden from those whose minds are not prepared to receive it. Unprepared mind, as you saw earlier in the chapter, cannot understand even if they read. It's just like without the proper preparation, going to a graduate class and attending the lecture, nothing makes sense. Unless a person has taken all the undergraduate courses in high school, pre-calculus and AP courses in mathematics and calculus and physics, and college they have taken all the advanced courses, calculus and mathematics and physics and everything. Then if they go to a graduate class and sit down in the physics class, quantum mechanics, they can make some understanding they will have. But without doing any of the preparation, taking any of the course, if you just go straight to the graduate school and sit down there, everybody is altering the speaker is speaking English. He's not holding anything back. But I cannot make any sense out of it. What is he talking about? Like that one. Preparation. If the mind is prepared, Shastra study will make sense. Otherwise, we can read all the Upanishads and scriptures and Puranas. If the mind is not ready, not prepared, then nothing makes sense. We can't understand anything. Those are merely words, sounds. Mind has to be prepared. So, Guhyatama means for a person whose mind is properly prepared, that means moral purity must be there. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said in the Gospel, one can understand the meaning of scriptures only when he has practiced some spiritual discipline. Otherwise, without preparation, if you complete scriptures, it will be not much useful. Idam guhyatamam shastram, this mystic, esoteric science, knowledge of God, of the self. Maya uktam, by me it has been explained. Uktam means it has been said. The Lord has explained his nature in this and previous chapters. He said, I have already explained my true nature, this mystic knowledge, sacred knowledge, by me to you. Anaga. By anaga means Bhagavan addresses Arjuna as anaga. Aga means sin. Anaga means sinless person, pure. Arjuna was sinless person. Anaga. Etad shastram buddhva. By knowing this shastra, this sacred lore, knowledge of God, Buddhiman say, Buddhiman, intelligent person. A dull person, a person not interested in God, interested in worldly thing, cannot understand this. Even if you read Gita in any language, he reads the Gita, but nothing makes sense. Mind must be ready and prepared. Buddhiman. Buddhi must be sattvic buddhi. In the next chapter, in the 17th chapter, we're going to study three kinds of buddhi. In chapter 17, verse number 30, 31, 32. I'll give the right number. Chapter 17. 30. No. Dhanam, Yajnam, Buddhi. Buddhi comes. I knew the Shloka number, I can't forget. Okay, let me get it. 3 kinds of Buddhi. Buddhir Vedam Dhruteshchaiva. Vedam Buddhist. You should remember it. Buddhir Vedam. Buddhi. 18. Chapter 18. Chapter 18, verse number 30. Give you right now. Chapter 18. Okay, here it is. Yeah. Chapter 18, verse number 30, 31, 32. I'm just mentioning it. We will study that later in detail. In chapter 18, Shloka 30, 31, 32, 3 kinds of buddhi are being explained. Satvik buddhi, Rajasik buddhi, Tamasik buddhi. Tamasik buddhi is in verse number 32, which cannot understand God or anything. Tamasic buddhi person cannot understand anything, subtle matters. Tamasic buddhi is described as 32 in 18. Adharmam dharma mitiyat manyate tamasavrata sarvarthan viparitamscha buddhissa partha tamasi. Tamasi buddhi means what is adharma, that person thinks as dharma. What is not to be done, he thinks that is to be done. Opposite, viparita buddhi. Viparita buddhi means everything opposite. Gets everything inverted. What happens is, a person with tamasic buddhi goes to the lowest level. His life will be ruined. Recently, a case study, interesting case study. The news, there is that in Alabama jail, there was this one man serving long life sentence for murder, 75-year sentence. And the jail superintendent, the lady in charge, she had infatuation for him, it seems, to the inmate. And she let him out on the pretext of taking him to the doctor's appointment. She had tamasic buddhi, how destructive it. A person's life goes from the top to the bottom in a few days. It doesn't take much time. Very sad story. I feel sad. That person, that lady's tamasic buddhi, how it destroys a person's life. What should not be done, she did. Exactly opposite. She sold her house. She had a very nice, stable job. She could have been very happy. $204,000 worth of house she sold for $90,000. Got the cash, bought a car, offered a resignation letter, let the man out, and he took him in that car and started on the run. She had some cash on hand. Now, this is most foolish thing to do. No matter where you go in this country, they will catch you in a few days. Where can you hide? And if you leave the country, you won't leave the country because the airport they will catch you. Your photo is in all the newspapers. So it is a foolish thing to do that one. So anyhow, they left in the car, escape car, dropped it and got some other car, and then checked into some hotel after 10 days, 11 days, and money was running out. How long can they live on that money? And they have to keep moving from place to place to escape detection by the Police, tragic story. It makes very sad. Why this person did like this? And then they were caught, obviously, somewhere. And then she shot herself. She was a jail superintendent, good position. She killed herself, and that man was captured and put back in jail. See, this is tamasic buddhi. To read that in newspaper, it makes me so sad. Why this lady? Nice life she had. Could have lived happily, married somebody. See, tamasic buddhi. That is Shloka number 32 in chapter 18. Viparita buddhi. Such people cannot understand God. They are very intelligent but very foolish also in some ways. So here it says, Buddhiman syat. Shloka number 20. Etad buddhva. By knowing God, Purushottama, a person becomes most intelligent. Buddhiman means the human intellect which is given to us is a very precious gift, which animals don't have, that faculty. That finds its fulfillment, fruition when we know God. That's the purpose why intelligence is given to us. Animals don't have the intelligence that we have. They cannot have reasoning ability. They just live by instinct. When they're hungry, they eat. When they're tired, they sleep, etc. But people have the intelligence given to us by God, very special gift. We should use it to realize God. Discriminating real and unreal, what is changing, what is eternal, which should be sought after, what should be rejected. That's purpose of buddhi. If we use that buddhi, precious gift to know God, then our life purpose is fulfilled. Otherwise, ruin will come like this one. Etad buddhva buddhiman syat. Knowing this knowledge of God. Etad means this knowledge, shastram. No. He or she will have done all his duties. Kritakrityascha bharata. Kritakritya means it's a very nice term we use in Indian languages. One who has performed all the duties required of him or her. Who is a kritakritya? One who has done anything that is required to be done by human being. What is it? When does a person become a kritakritya? When he realizes God. Sometimes in old-fashioned wedding invitation, now they don't print wedding invitation like that, all fancy and everything. Old-fashioned wedding invitations, the bride's parents used to write all the ahvana patrika invitation in a traditional way, chanting with, beginning with God's prayer, all those things. And then at the last sentence, they would say, the bride's parents would say to the guests, invited guests, please come with your family and friends and bless the young couple and make us kritakrityas. That phrase they would use. That means a person, if a father and mother get their child, daughter married away, then they are done their purpose. For householders in the old, it's not the present society, still not like that. Now they make their own arrangement. In earlier days, parents of brides were very worried. Until the daughter is married, they cannot be peaceful. Daughter is getting old and some marriage has to be done. Find a suitable boy, arrange marriage. Then they will, when they once marriage, daughter is married, goes to her husband's home, then the parents are happy, relieved. Big responsibility over from our head. Kritakritya they will become. For human beings, we become kritakritya. We will feel then we'll have done all our duties that we are required to do as human beings only when we realize God. Then only we can call ourselves kritakritya. Not when the daughter is married. That's the old-fashioned style. Kritakrityascha bharata. A person who knows the Purushottama in this way, buddhiman, he is the wise person, visatik buddhi, he becomes fulfilled in life. He will have fulfilled everything that a human being is supposed to have done. He will have done that one. The fulfillment of life will come by knowing God. In one sentence, fulfillment of human destiny is to know God. And if we know God, experience God's presence, then we are done. Nothing more to be done. There is no more work to be done after that one. There is nothing to be done after that. There is nothing higher than that one. Yam lambadvacha param labam manyate nadikam tataha, the earlier chapter we saw. By reaching God, there is nothing more higher to be reached. There is nothing more to be left to be done. We have finished our life mission as human beings, fulfillment. So that is the 15th chapter. In this chapter, there are very many interesting verses. Most beautiful chapter, important chapter. Many people memorize this chapter and chant this whole chapter 15, 20 shlokas before meals. So nice to memorize this chapter and chant every day. It is known by studies, scientific studies, that chanting Sanskrit mantras produces beneficial effect on the brain. The neural connections change, and brain functions more efficiently. Very positive beneficial effect will come to the brain when we chant Sanskrit mantra. They have the words have that sounds have that power. The sounds have that power. So it's nice to chant some mantra, some hymn every day. So that is chapter 15. We shall now begin chapter 16. It's very interesting, easy chapter. Chapter 16 is very easy, interesting, nothing complicated there. This is called Daivasara Sampad Vibhaga Yoga. Deva means God, above human being, other higher beings. Asura means demons, evil forces. Deva Asura, Daiva Asura, objective Daiva Asura. Sampat means wealth. Wealth is of two kinds. Material wealth, that is money, and anything that money can buy. Big house, many bungalows and property, car and all those things. These all people consider this as wealth. He's a wealthy man, we say. That means he has a lot of money and big house and expensive cars and servants and everything. That's one kind of wealth. That kind of wealth is not permanent. It can go away. All this wealth will be there and the man will go away, leaving everything. That is not really wealth. Wealth means our virtues, the qualities as a human being we have. Those are permanent wealth. Wealth. That is permanent wealth. That helps us to realize God. Daivi Sampat, divine qualities, virtues, as opposed to Asuri Sampat, demoniac qualities. Demoniac qualities are, we can see plenty of it in the world around. People have human bodies, but they behave like demons. Human bodies are there, but they don't have human qualities. They are behave like worse than human beings, indulging in violence and cheating and lying and doing all kinds of things. They are only human beings in appearance. They have asuri sampat, demoniac quality. We don't want to think much about them. Daivi sampat, Deivasara sampat, vibhaga. Vibhaga means division, distinction. Yoga. This topic is very interesting. So let us begin with the shloka number 1. In the introduction, Shankara says, Tatra samsara mokshaya daivi prakritihi ibandhaya asuri rakshasi iti devyaha, etc. If we have divine qualities, we get liberation. Samsara mokshaya daivi prakritihi. Liberation from the all bondage and suffering, we reach God. Devi Sampath if we have. If you can cultivate. It's easy to cultivate. Devi Sampath. You have to know what they are. If you Asuri Sampath, then we will go in the opposite direction. Our life will be ruined. You don't want that. So Sri Bhagavan Vacha, the Lord says, first verse. Abhayam sattva samshuddhihi jnana yoga vyavasthitihi danam damascha yajnascha swadhyayastapa arjavam. In the first three shlokas, shloka number 1, 2, and 3, in this chapter, Daivi Sampat is being described. First three shlokas. These are important shlokas. We have to study them carefully and cultivate, practice as many as possible. Very important part of this chapter 6 in the first three shlokas. So, Daivi Sampat. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhihi Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi Dhanam Damascha Yajnascha Swadhyayastapa Arjavam. It's only a list. You have list, so many lists we have seen before. List of qualities of Prachata Prajna, the second chapter. List of qualities of a devotee in the 12th chapter. List of virtues of a jnani, 13th chapter. Shloka 7 to 11. Like that, this is another list here. In the 14th chapter, we saw list of qualities of a Trigunatīta. Now here, Daivi Sampat list. Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhi. Abhayam means fear. Abhayam means freedom from fear, fearlessness. This itself is an interesting big topic, fear. In the Upanishads, they say the cause of fear. Why we are afraid of something. We all have fear. Some have more, some have less. Some are afraid of this, some are afraid of that. But fear is there, common to all human beings. Why fear comes? Fear comes because we anticipate some pain or loss, discomfort from some other source. Fear of poverty. Somebody has a job and some money. That person is afraid that he may lose the job because there is no job security these days. Fear of loss of job. A person has money and he is afraid of losing that money in stock market. One day is a millionaire and the prices fall and he will lose all the money. That fear is there constantly. Whatever we have, the fear of losing that one. Body. We have the body, we are afraid of losing it. Death, we are afraid of death. Most people are afraid of death because this body will go away. This is most precious thing. I'm the body. It's so important to me. And if it goes away, then I will die. I don't want to die. Fear of death, fear of sickness, fear of old age. All these things are there. Why this fear comes? Is because ignorance. The root cause of fear is ignorance of our true nature. Vedanta says that you are not the body mind, you are the Atman. Atman has no death, it has no old age, it has no disease, it is free from all impurities, it is infinite, eternal, pure conscious Ananda, Sachidananda, you are that. What is there to be afraid of? You don't know that one. We don't know our true nature. You're only thinking you're the body mind. That is the cause of all, that ignorance is the cause of all desire. This may go away, that may go away, or that problem may come, somebody may take away my stuff. Like this. Fear is because of ignorance. One reason. It is expressed by in a different way in the Upanishads. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a short sentence which says, fear comes from the second. Dvitiya dvai bhayam bhavati. Dvitiya means second one. Second means something other than the first. This is the first one. Atman, self. Besides me, if there is a second entity, there's a person or animal or something else is there, I'm afraid of that. Fear comes from that one. Fear comes from perceiving the second. When does fear go away? When I don't see any second. Where there is no second, Atman alone is there, then where is the fear? No source of fear. That experience of Atman alone and rejecting all reality of all the world and everything, that is this state of fearlessness. That means to put in a different way, supposing we experience samadhi, waking state we have fear, so many dangers are there. If you go to samadhi, then where is the fear? From whom? From what? What is there to lose? In experience your divine nature, you are the Sachidananda, experiencing it. What is the fear? No. The moment you descend from the state of samadhi to the waking state, and all kinds of fear will come. Every kind of fear will come in waking state. So the solution to fear is to know our true nature, or to put it in a familiar language, when you know God, there is no fear. Atmajnana means self-knowledge. For jnanis, for bhaktas, knowledge of God. Bhakti, pure devotion, if you have, no fear. For a pure devotee, no fear. The person who has complete, total devotion. Our devotion is not like that one. Our devotion is not very deep or pure. It's Vaidhi Bhakti. Pure Bhakti, I described it in Narada, which you are studying on Mondays, that has no fear. When a person has pure devotion, no trace of fear for a devotee, because he knows the Lord personally. He experiences God every moment. Where is the fear? God is protecting me. Gita, he says, I'll protect you if you are devoted to me. Gita, Bhagavan says in 9th chapter, he says, I think it's Shloka 22, 922. Can somebody remember? Shloka 9, this 10th chapter. Ananyaschintayanto mam ye jana pariyupasate tesham yes, 922. Tesham nityavayuktanam yogakshemam mahamyaham. Famous verse. There the Lord has promised, if you are devoted to me steadfastly, pure devotion, then I shall provide whatever you need. I shall protect what you have. Yogakshemam mahami is promised. Several places in the Gita it has come. So devotee who knows God intimately, experiences God, for him or her there is no fear. Pure devotion makes us free from fear. Nothing to be afraid of. He is protecting me. He is within me. I am his child. Mother is protecting me. She is infinite, mother of the whole universe. She is protecting me. What is there to be afraid of? No anxiety, no fear for devotee. If you are anxiety, if you are fear, then means we are devotion, but not the highest kind. Ordinary devotion we have. So abhayam, first quality, Daivi Sampat, is freedom from fear, gained either by self-knowledge or by pure devotion. That is the first quality, Daivi Sampat. Then other qualities are mentioned in the first three shlokas of chapter 16. We have to study all these qualities. We will try to practice as many as possible. Some of these have come before in other chapters too. Same things have come. So let me stop here and continue next week, God willing. Until then, all of you stay well. And let me say the closing prayer. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may all be happy. May all be free from ill health and other problems. May all realize and know what is and practice what is dharmic and auspicious. May no one be subject to any kind of suffering or misery. Om peace. May there be peace in our hearts, Adhyatmika Shanti. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings, Adi Bhautika Shanti. May there be peace everywhere in nature, Adi Daivika Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. All of you stay well, and God willing, see you next week. Good. Vayam Sattvatam Shuddhihi Jnana Yoga Vyavastitihi